Alright, once again, I'm live. Another hot day. Yeah. How things going on? How things going on? Yeah, Chak coming on tonight. We gotta talk about rising cancer rates among people over 50. Sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? I remember these problems in the world years ago. So, like I said, okay. Okay, let me pull this up. What's going on, man? How you doing? Salute, brother. Okay. Pull this up. Yeah, where you at?
What you mean where I'm at?
I sent to you. You on?
I ain't getting nothing.
Man, I sent it to your phone.
Voice number?
Yep.
No, I ain't getting that. The only link I got was a link you sent me to about the 33 minutes.
All right, it might be taking too long. I'm gonna send to your message.
Send it to me in Facebook message.
I just sent to you. All right, I'm on.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, something going on with the phones, but nevertheless, it is what it is. So that's that. All right. So waiting on him to get here, but at the same time, how you doing, Julie, man? I just want to bring this up. So they're saying about rising cancer rates in women and men. People under 50. Not a good statistic. So why is that? Nobody ever wants to ask why that is. Could it be some things genetically? No. Something been going on over the last couple of years, people. We just haven't really put our hands together on this thing. And I just don't want to know what's going on. Say something. Steve, I'll holler back. People never really want to know what's going on with the whole situation. But that's okay. They don't have to really know the whole situation. Should they know? Yes. The problem is they don't want to know. And should they want to know? No. Not if they don't want to, but ignorance is bliss. I'm about to read some scriptures tonight too. Let people know what's going on really. Maybe they'll wake up and smell the coffee. Maybe they won't. I don't know. You know what? This was in my mind today. Let me pull this up right quick. I'm putting this verse up for y'all. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. The foreigners who reside among you rise above you higher and lower. Higher and higher, but you will sink lower and lower. They will lend to you, but you will not lend to them. They will be the head, but you will be the tail. Sound like what's going on in New York City, doesn't it? What's going on? What's going on, Chak?
Mic check.
Yeah, how you doing? So look, I was
good.
We were talking about these foreigners and stuff earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to the scriptures in the Bible, it says Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43 and 44. And it talks about these curses. The foreigners who reside among you will rise above you higher and higher, but you will sink lower and lower. They will lend to you, but you will not lend to them. They will be the head, but you will be the tail. Point that out there. Interesting. Huh?
Right. I said you will be the tail, huh?
Yeah. Let me play something else for you. Because I got to break it down one more time. Let me break it down. Hold on for a minute. Mm-hmm. Fair use copyright disclaimer in Section 107. The Copyright Act of 1976 allows made fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute might otherwise be infringing. All right. With that being said, let's get to the study here. Let's make this kind of quick. Cut me off anytime, okay? I'm going to read this article a little bit more in depth. You got me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
New study finds alarming rise in cancer rates among people under 50. Queen Stewart, a lawyer mother to learn she had breast cancer at age 35. She found a lump herself because she was too young for insurance-paying screenings. I just cried and I was just worried so much about whether I would be here for my girls. According to a new study published this week in BMJ Oncology, cancer rates have risen dramatically in people under the age of 50. Researchers examined from data from 204 countries between 1999 and 2019. They found that there were more than 3.26 million early onset cancer cases in those countries in 2019, up from 1.82 million in 1990, an increase of 79.1%. The study defined early onset cancer diagnosis that occurs between the ages of 14 and 49. The number of early onset cancer deaths rose from about 800,000 to 1990 to 1.06 million in 2019. Researchers found of the 29 types of cancer that were studied, breast cancer in 2019 accounted for the most early onset cases, 16.5%, as well as most early onset deaths, 12.84%. Meanwhile, both early onset prostate cancer and nasopharyngeal cancer showed the fastest increase in incidence rates of any types of cancer over the 30-year period. These numbers are remarkable, Dr. Christopher Flowers, an oncologist at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center, says. The study said that while genetics is a contributing factor to disease, poor diet, alcohol and tobacco use, physical activity, and obesity also play major roles. Dietary risk factors: diet high in red meat, low in fruits, high in sodium, and low in milk. Alcohol consumption, tobacco use, the main risk factors underlying early onset cancer, the study concluded. You got anything to say so far yet?
Mm-mm.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Researchers found that the unavailability of medical care by region can also impact the number of cases and deaths. I think it's important for young individuals who meet screening criteria to consider and pursue screening at age-appropriate times. In the U.S., the recommended age to start colon cancer screening is recently lowered from age 50 to 45, while the recommended age for breast cancer screening was lowered from 50 to 40. Look at the importance of screening death, and that really gets to the point around those screenable cancers, those breast cancer, colorectal cancer, cervix cancer. The study projected that early onset cancer rates will increase 31% by 2030, while cancer deaths will rise 21% by 2030. Meanwhile, Stewart had a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation. She's now in remission. She has a new lease on life. It had me create a sense of urgency in my life to find joy to be more present for my family, Stewart said. So that's actually in the article. I'm done reading it.
Now, this article is from the, which one is this from?
This is on CBS Evening News.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you
And
can
this
put
is
it
about
up.
the radiation?
No, it's about cancer, prostate, all that.
But
I mean, it's telling you about all the
it didn't
cancer.
say where it comes from, though, right? It says alarming rises. Okay, cancer. No, I was just reading the title again. Cancer rates among people. Okay, but it don't say what the cancer rates are coming from.
I read it. They said that poor diet, alcohol and tobacco use, physical inactivity, and obesity play major roles. Risk factors: diet high in meat, high in red meat, low in fruits, high in sodium, and low in milk, etc. Alcohol consumption and tobacco use are the main risk factors underlying early onset cancers. But they also say the availability of medical care by region can also impact the number of cases and deaths.
But I thought it was healthcare for all. Was it death care for all?
Well, explain it, brother. I mean, it's prostate cancer month. Go ahead and explain it, brother. Let's go ahead and explain it.
Oh yeah, this is September is the National Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, man, and I think it's us as men, you know what I'm saying, and some of the biggest uh human creators and producers of life. I think we need to be focusing on why the uptick in prostate cancer and why it's not as big awareness as next month October would be breast cancer month. We got the pink ribbons and stuff for breast cancer month. I think it's time for us to start to um, turn the dial, turn the level up on the prostate cancer in men's health, um, and our reproductive system and stuff like that. Um, but things that I researched about prostate cancer, man, definitely um, certain things for us going to the bathroom up at night. These are some of the symptoms, I guess. Urinating overnight, um, fullness of the bladder. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's even so full that you can't even urinate. Um, Other problems could be, things like erectile, what I'm saying, impotency and stuff like that. Um, Small strings, like, if I'm not mistaken, I think you have, even when you're trying to drain and actually urinate, you might have small squirts coming out, you know what I'm saying, because that prostate and the area down there, your pelvic floor muscles and stuff are definitely compromised, you know what I mean? But things like I said that can possibly change those situations. You can look into things like zinc, getting more zinc into your diet, magnesium. Ultimately, checking with a urologist and actually getting a check. I think men, and this just me, my personal opinion and thought on this particular situation. I think men should start at early as 18. I mean, as soon as you hit puberty, I think we need to have checks every 3 to 5 years on the prostate, just checking and making sure everything is working and there's no complications is coming up, no polyps and nothing showing up. Especially because what he just read the article of all the toxic carcinogens that we ingest. That's the carcinogens that's in the food, aka some certain meats. You know what I'm saying? Certain products that we inhale, like cigarettes, vapes, uh, things like alcohol, like you said. Um, Anything that's an endocrine disruptor, you know what I'm saying? Things like maybe um trying to think of some other things that's a possibility that can onset, just to bad your diet, changing up your diet, you know what I'm saying? Maybe getting too much like I say, red meat in it, getting too much maybe um sodium foods with a lot of preservative foods. Just say anything that's like you have a high diet of preservatives, you know what I'm saying? Meaning anything that's packaged and it's been packaged and sitting in the warehouse for a long period of time, certain canned goods. If you are consuming these products at an excessive rate, meaning that's your majority um, 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 source of food regimen, you know what I mean? We're gonna have to switch that up because preservatives and packaged food is supposed to be for survival or when necessary. It's not supposed to be the main course and the main diet for you. People used to can foods back in the day, like you said before. The big supermarkets came and took over the industries. Came and took over. You know what I'm saying? People used to know how to can their own foods when it came time for the winter months or after the harvest season. They was able to can certain things. You know what I'm saying, and store it up because you got those months where it's more colder in certain areas. Um, and you have to store this type of food up. You learn how to package your own food, how to preserve it, preserve your own food, whether that's a fruit, vegetable, meat, um, dehydration. But now, like I said, I'm rumbling on, but that's correlating to everything that's going on because now those survival techniques and those survival foods or have become our main diet, even with the fast food industry. You know what I mean? A lot of those fast foods. I mean, allegedly, some of these just regular old chicken and fish sandwiches, hamburgers and stuff. You got so many products in them that you can't even spell the name of these products, man. I know Bernard can elaborate on that because he went to school for nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Or he took up, of course, and got certified in nutrition. You know?
Hey man, you know what I look at though, man?
What's that?
When I look at all the names of these products, man,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you something. If that motherfucker got more than daggone 5 ingredients on that jump, you might start to read the fine print. Cause daggone, you're gonna find out a lot of this stuff an animal ain't even gonna eat.
That's true.
You ever seen a dog? You ever seen a dog smell some food, but he don't pick it up and eat it?
Nah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, that means it ain't natural for him to eat. That's why he don't eat it.
I mean, some of the so-called dog foods they don't really. Some of these pets, dogs don't even eat. You know what I'm saying? That might be the last resort. They will starve themselves before they eat some of that slop.
Hey, if you throw a dog a piece of cake on the ground, he not gonna eat that shit.
Probably ain't, because he can smell the chemicals in there. You know, allegedly.
I mean, if you throw him some salad, he probably won't eat that because he really a meat eater. He ain't gonna eat that probably neither. But if he eats some meat, he'll eat that. Depending on what it is now. I don't eat no chitlins and all that stuff, though. No pig feet, nothing. But that's just
Man,
me.
look, I had dogs eat everything: neck bone, spaghetti, hot dog, cold hot dog.
Hey, look. Well, we gotta talk about something else. What's the mental state of people right now in this country, man? Everybody seems stressed out, bonked out, conked out. What's up?
Man, you're right, Bernard. It's the mental state of the majority of people, man. I say overwhelmed, overworked. What the heck that was?
Overworked, underpaid, and daggone
Overworked, underpaid.
stressed out.
Definitely stressed out. Um, um, I mean, whew, traumatized. A lot of people feeling like they victimized. Man, really just getting pushed to the max, yo. You know what I'm saying? And this is from the young people, you know, with all of this sexual freedom, the sexual liberation stuff, or whatever you want to call it. That the super exposure to everything, you know, aka the social media, you know what I'm saying? Um, man, the overexposure to, you know, man, everything that's going on in the media. I mean, it's a gift and a curse. You know, you can get an overload, and I think a lot of us, some of us, are suffering from an overload, radiation overload, overload of information sometimes. Because a lot of this information, man, we get it so fast and it's readily so available. You can over exert yourself, man. You know, but
All right.
what's so crazy about it is, damn, you kind of want to be woke. I heard them the slogan they got in the media, stop woke or um what they got what the
I'm
slogan they got?
gonna have to explain that woke term too, because they got a definition for that. And they said in 2010 or something like that, it started to become more approved for the LGBTQ and safe space groups or something crazy like that. It's an
But
adjective.
see, you see all this stuff. You see how this stuff get compromised. anything that's grassroots, it gets compromised and gets overused and abused. You know what I'm saying? We could just talk about Black Lives Matter. We could talk about the word woke. We could talk
Wait a minute,
about
wait a minute. Speaking of Black Lives
the
Matter,
rainbow.
Black Lives Matter, September 6th was the day Darren Seals got killed 7 years ago. Or September 7th. I think he was killed on 6th. He found on 7th, but he was killed in that car through Black Lives Matter infiltration in 2016. So shout out to King Darren Seals.
Yeah, peace and blessings, man. That's like I said, infiltration, man. I mean, the rainbow. I mean, the rainbow was taken and uh but shout out to that brother, man. Like you said,
Okay.
man. Wow.
Now look.
You know.
Okay. The word woke is an adjective derived from African American vernacular English, meaning alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. Beginning in the 2010s, it came to encompass a broader awareness of social inequalities such as sexism and LGBTQ rights. Boy, they look, Chak, I got to give it to them. They just jump on any bandwagon on it, brother.
Wow.
Yeah. But nevertheless, that's how they do you. Let me play this video for you. Got to play some world news. Biden and the boys ready to meet at the G20 summit. So when they come back, they're going to have some policies.
For the G20 summit, he met with India's prime minister shortly after his arrival on Friday. Ed O'Keefe has more now from New Delhi.
Christina, good evening. President Biden received a bit of a rock star welcome here in New Delhi and then went off immediately to a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a man whose face adorns most of the posters and announcements about this big G20 summit this weekend. The two leaders have now met 11 times in one way or another, either virtually or in person, since President Biden took office, but this was the first time they'd met here in India, and in a joint statement afterward reaffirmed the close and enduring partnership between India and the United States, calling out things like ongoing work on semiconductor research or educational exchanges, plans for India's military to buy aircraft and drone technology, and even the U.S. endorsing India's bid to earn a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. The two leaders will headline the G20 summit on Saturday. Notably absent will be China's Xi Jinping, Russia's Vladimir Putin, both leaders staying away as they have issues with India in terms of the war in Ukraine and dominance over South and Southeastern Asia. The summit is expected to focus on issues of global economic concerns, so helping poor countries, climate change, women's rights, infrastructure development, issues that President Biden certainly enjoys speaking with fellow world leaders. And in the absence of China and Russia's top leaders, the president, in essence, has much of the world stage to himself in the coming 48 hours or so as the summit continues. New Delhi is a city of about 33 million people, but they've all been ordered to stay home over the next 3 days in order for this summit to run smoothly. That means restaurants and shops are closed, the streets are mostly clear. The chaos that is a real characteristic of this capital city won't necessarily be seen by international visitors and delegations here in town. From here on Sunday, the president heads to Vietnam for a meeting the Vietnamese leaders are seeking as they try to improve relations with the United States. It has strong, close relationships with its neighbor to the north, China, with South Korea and India, but it is also now seeking more partnership on an economic and military level with the United States. The president hinted at the meeting earlier this summer, saying the Vietnamese leadership was eager for him to come so that they could start building a better relationship amid the growing dominance of China. That means the president's visit to Hanoi on Sunday and Monday will keep him from Washington next Monday or from visiting New York on the 9/11 anniversary, making him the first U.S. president to not mark that anniversary in either New York, D.C., or Pennsylvania. He will instead hold a commemoration event with U.S. troops at an airbase in Alaska as Air Force One refuels on his way home to Washington.
Well, when we talking to 9/11 survivors this year, brother, or people that, that's kind of interesting, isn't it, brother?
Moving to Alaska. What the heck they got going on?
Well, Alaska, they just canceled drilling. They just canceled drilling in Alaska. So
they just canceled who?
Drilling, like oil drilling.
Drilling.
Yeah, they canceled the oil leases. Yeah. The world is a stage, brother. But now, all right. I gotta pull this up, man. I didn't get to finish the other night because, like I said, I just we be going on and on and on. But I gotta do this because I didn't get to it all, so I gotta break it down one more again. Hold your horses, Chak. So hold your horses. I'm gonna play the whole video because I didn't get to do it the other time. I can't see how many minutes. Okay, here it is. I got it. I got it this time.
Meanwhile, Andrew, Elon Musk says now he is considering suing the Anti-Defamation League for lost advertising revenue on X, formerly known as Twitter. Over the weekend, Musk wrote on X, quote, "The ADL has been trying to kill this platform by falsely accusing it and me of being anti-Semitic." Musk claims ad revenue down 60% in the U.S. because of that, adding he's against anti-Semitism of any kind. Back in May, the ADL released a report saying the platform does not do enough to combat hate speech. This as researchers found thousands of anti-Semitic posts after Musk gained control of the site and reinstated previously banned accounts. Joining us now here in studio, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt. Jonathan, good morning. So it looks to most people like Elon Musk overpaid maybe by 2x for something that he wanted in Twitter. Right. He allowed extremists back on the site. You guys have documented how the anti-Semitism has come back to Twitter in waves. Meanwhile, it's a terrible user experience. So revenue is down, and he blames you, to which you say what?
Well, look, I mean, I can't tell you exactly why Elon is doing this, but what I can tell you is many of the claims he's making are just wrong. So I've never accused him of being anti-Semitic. The platform itself clearly isn't inherently anti-Semitic. And I would challenge him to find a single advertiser on whom we put any pressure, because we're simply not doing that. At the same time, I'm not going to stop calling out anti-Jewish hate. That's my job as the head of the ADL, to stop anti-Semitism, racism, all forms of bigotry. And the truth is there is a problem on the platform. It's not unique to Twitter, but Twitter has uniquely, in the last 6 to 9 months, brought on all these different extremists and anti-Semites.
And it looks, John, to most people like the website has tanked and he needs a scapegoat, and comes the ADL.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a scapegoat that is we hear throughout history,
right,
with so much anti-Semitism behind it. So talk to us about, as you watch Twitter, how has it changed in the Musk era? And you're not saying that he himself is anti-Semitic, but tell us how you see that site give cover to those who are.
Well, there's no doubt that Twitter has never been good. Under the previous management, we had lots of problems as well. But what we've seen is a lot of these extremists have been re-platformed. Right. And you just have to open up your phone and look at what's happening right now. Put in the hashtag ban the ADL. That's what started to trend over the weekend. After, Jonathan, I met with Linda Yaccarino, the CEO, who I met with because we want to be helpful. Look, the world would be a better place if Twitter was less full of hate. The world would be a better place if it was safer and better. But after I met with her and tweeted out that that meeting had happened, the white supremacists went wild. And what's scary is this is happening in a moment when anti-Semitism is at a historic high. We had Nazis marching openly in Florida this weekend, chanting, ban the ADL. What they brought to their march came literally from Twitter.
It was unbelievable. So Andrew Ross Sorkin, help me out here. And tell me where Elon Musk is in
he
regards
definitely can make a lot of assumptions and correlate it.
Twitter.
He's a great investigator. Put two and two together, huh?
On the show, asking Kara Swisher, why would he do this? This makes absolutely no sense for him business-wise. This is a nightmare. He shouldn't do this. Why aren't people stopping him from doing this? Why aren't his lawyers stopping him from doing this? This is going to be a nightmare. Even I couldn't imagine that it would be this bad of a nightmare, Andrew. So is there anybody in his orbit that can talk about an exit strategy? So one of the most brilliant creators of our time can get back to creating things and changing lives instead of being down in some social media mud pit.
I think that's frankly what Linda Yaccarino is trying to do. That's what she's been brought on to do. But I think that at the same time, there's this great conundrum that Elon Musk has created himself, which is he wants this to be this, full-on laissez-faire free speech with an amplification. But even if it exists on the platform, at the same time that brands have to pay or want to pay or don't want to pay in this case to be near this stuff, how you make a business out of that, I think, is a real question. And that's what they're grappling with right now. And I think we're all questioning.
Yeah. So, Andrew, I'm going to ask you the business side, but I want to throw this open to everybody because something fascinating has happened. I think like a lot of people, I jumped over to Threads. I'm still on X. I jumped over to Threads. And everybody on this show will tell you, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Twitter was always extraordinary for its newsfeed, even when things went crazy on there. I would still get my news feed from there and learn in 5 minutes what I needed to know for at least half a day. It was pretty crazy. I went over to Threads, and I'll be honest, I'm jumping back and forth, but I don't see the same vitality on Threads. I can't get the same news feed on Threads. There's still, even from the left, not the engagement on Threads that there still is on X. So I'm not on either one of them a whole lot, but I'm curious. We had this huge Threads explosion at the beginning. It seemed to have died down, and I can just say as a user, there's I forget, maybe Donnie or somebody talked about squeezing the juice from something. There just doesn't seem to be juice on Threads right now.
Right. I don't disagree with you. I had the same experience. I think they might have one more bite at the apple to really sort of switch things on. They've made a concerted effort and been quite public, though, that they don't want to engage with the news media.
A lot of that stuff, he was responding to it, fanning the flames, blaming you guys for the failure of the company he bought, and also to have a former president of the United States, a man who wants to be president again, at least creating space for this, if not saying it explicitly. What are the real world implications of that? What have you seen change in the last few years?
We know this because we track it, and extremists feel emboldened. It's interesting that's happening while we have these sentences being handed down on January 6th. But the reality is QAnon enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, hardened anti-Semites, all of these types of people who were under rocks before are now out in the open. And again, when you have Nazis chanting ban the ADL, when you have swattings of synagogues, when you have bomb threats against Jewish institutions, and the Jewish holidays of Rosh Hashanah are just a few weeks away. That's why community is on edge, and that's why ADL will not shrink. We will not hesitate. We will be ferocious in fighting hate. And the empty threats and frivolous lawsuits, they don't scare us. And, like you said, Elon Musk truly is the wealthiest man in the world. He's one of the most brilliant innovators of our time. He controls one of the most powerful media platforms on the planet. We're just a small nonprofit. So blaming the Jews, if you will, that's classic scapegoating. It's not what happened here, but we won't stop, fighting all forms of hate, because that's what we do.
It's certainly given some cover, as you say. These people have come out of the shadows again and speak more loudly, and we've seen violence because of it. The CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt. Jonathan, thanks as always. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Boy! All right. Come on, man. That was pathetic, really. But what he's saying is that they're not going to stop doing what they're doing. They're going to come back to all forms of hate. What do you think about this, Shane? Comparing all forms of hate. Kind of interesting to me. Is he being hateful?
Man, he's full of man. Look here, man. It's amazing how he all his assumptions is 100%, and he can claim somebody else is racist, but they ain't. But they ain't got no problem calling you black. Ain't that racist? Ain't that form of eugenics? Ain't that form
You
of
know
the
what getting
eugenics
me
movement?
though?
Huh?
But
What?
you know what's getting me though? He put up the numbers of 3,600 in some anti-Semitic incidents in what is it, 2022, right? Man, you can get 700 murders in one damn city in a year. So what the hell is that? The fuck is he talking about? That 3,000 incidents. You know how many people in America, man, you complain about 3,000 incidents, man? You know how crazy this sound, man? I'm just saying, man. It don't make sense for him to be griping like this, man. That's my take on it, but go ahead.
You already know I don't mess with that dude, man, because he's full of shit. You know what I mean?
Hey, look.
So
Hey, look. He also said 20% of Americans today believe in widely held anti-Semitic ideals. I said, now where you getting these numbers from? So, you know what gets me? He also has said there's concerns of disinformation and hate speech in artificial intelligence. This a damn robot, man. What the hell wrong with you, man? But what I'm saying is, man, he ain't nothing but another soy boy. He just trying to stake his claim to fame. Well, he already got, he had an idea. But he ain't no small nonprofit, okay? And you know what, Shaq? Let's just do something. I ain't trying to be too long on it. History. Ooh. Oh, shit, Shaq. I got something for you. You know what it's called? History of the ADL. 100 years of building a better world. What do you think about that, Shaq? The history of the ADL.
yeah, building a better world for them, and everybody else is their subjects. You know what I mean?
All right, hold on. Let me pull this up.
This nation is a work in progress, a promise and a dream. We are a nation built upon the principles of equality and justice, but still striving to realize our ideals, to fulfill the promise, to perfect the dream. That is why ADL was founded 100 years ago, and why ADL still exists today. In each generation since its founding, the Anti-Defamation League has been a force for change, a champion of our nation's values, and a shield against hate and extremism. In 1913, the Jewish community of the United States faced rampant anti-Semitism and overt discrimination. Books, plays, and above all newspapers depicted Jews with crude stereotypes. Against this backdrop of bigotry and intolerance, an attorney from Chicago named Sigmund Livingston put forth a bold idea. An organization with the mission to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all. Starting with a $200 budget and 2 desks in Livingston's law office, the Anti-Defamation League was founded with the clear understanding that the fight against one form of prejudice could not succeed without battling prejudice in all forms. During this same time, an event in Georgia makes the need for the organization painfully clear. Leo Frank, a Jewish businessman who moves to Atlanta to manage his family's pencil factory, is convicted of the rape and murder of a 13-year-old female employee, following a trial which was defined by anti-Semitism. When the governor reduces his death sentence to life in prison, a mob, including some influential community leaders, drags Frank from his prison cell and lynches him. It is not until decades later, at ADL's urging, that the state of Georgia issues Frank a posthumous pardon. For 100 years, the Anti-Defamation League has been a force for change, a champion of our nation's values, and a shield against hate and extremism. ADL has come a long way, from 2 desks in a Chicago law firm to an internationally recognized leader in the fight against prejudice, bigotry, and hate. With 28 offices across the country and a team of professionals and lay leaders dedicated to stopping the defamation of the Jewish people and securing justice and fair treatment to all. ADL begins its 2nd century knowing that there is much more work to be done. Imagine a world without hate. ADL will not rest until the dream becomes a reality.
Imagine a world without hate.
All right, Chak, let me break this down. We got a couple things we got to break down in there. What year was it founded? 1913. Ding, 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 ding. 1913. Ding, ding. Right? They kind of said it. I mean, that's them.
Is that
them
that's 2 years before Woodrow Wilson, right? And when that recommendation?
Right. Federal Reserve era, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Talk about Leo Frank. Remember I told you we were going to talk about Leo Frank. Daggone the guy who raped the girl. Remember that? Okay. So they brought everything up I needed to say in like a 4-minute segment. I could have get to more videos, but I'm just breaking that down tonight. Real watch these guys more than this tonight. But I'm just saying, I just broke down ADL for you. Who they are, what they are, why they, well, actually, they didn't get to the Federal Reserve part. We ain't even got to get to that. We know that. I'll talk about that later. But it go to show you 100 years later, actually 110 years because they were formed in 1913. A lot of things are going on in that 1900 period, man. You had a world war going on. You had Marjorie Singer. She was out at that time. You had a whole lot of stuff going on. Think. And that area today is worth over $100 million. They say it started with $200 budget. And at that time, $200 might have been like $200 million. But go ahead. Right. You hear me? Chak.
Yeah. Trying to get this stuff right over here, man. Say it again now.
I said a lot of stuff at that time, 1913, a lot of stuff was going on. You had a world war at the time. You had Marjorie Singer around at that time. You had a lot of stuff going on in this particular time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no doubt that they were formed this time for those purposes as well. Because the ADL, believe it or not, well, you know it now, they support eugenics too.
Of course they support eugenics. Look here, man. Anybody that's still calling people black, and you know what I'm saying, and they support eugenics. They support the annihilation of the Aboriginal people. They for the white system, system that was set up after Reconstruction from 1871 on to 1890. They reconstructed, and that was they was doing, reconstructing and put in place a system of whiteness. You know what I'm saying? White is a status. We know it's a social construct. Black, white race is a social construct. But it's amazing how they got Asian as a race, though. But they don't got African as a race. But they got black/African American as a so-called race or ethnicity. But they got a whole goddamn Asian. Why they ain't got they got American Indian on there now? Alaskan American.
What I told you, hey man, what I told
Alaskan
you about
Native.
What I told you about being xenophobic. Now I'm joking. Go ahead.
But so you mean to tell me anybody got any problems with them? They can't voice the problem they got with them. If they call them out and say that, they can always come out.
Now wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Voice on you though. They get the big stage to talk about what you are.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. When you talk about Asians, they don't actually call you racist. They call you xenophobic.
Say it again now.
When you talk about Asians, they call you xenophobic.
Well, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is. See, they be making up all these words. Even the anti-Semitic, it's some made up shit. And he's just pushing around like, but see, that's what they do. It's psychological. It's mind control. So they're going to control your thoughts and project on you. Oh, anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic has risen at an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? And then you see he slipped in there first. Oh, it's anti-Jewish hate. We against anti-Jewish hate or anti-Jewish something. What? Y'all don't even recognize the so-called black folks that you call as Jews. Ain't that racist? Ain't that a form of racism?
You know,
eugenics and colorism.
You know who I like? You know who I actually liked at that time when all this stuff was going on. Remember the guy named Bishop Nathaniel?
I was trying to think of his name, Bishop Nathaniel. Yeah.
Yeah. He even told you they won't even meet with them to have a conversation. So what is that?
They ain't, and then they automatically just go on a public platform and the same thing they saying they protecting other people from. I mean, protecting themselves from. They go and do it. And just automatic deem somebody as a hate group because they have a different opinion on race, religion, or ancestry, or whatever. So you can call them a hate group on a public platform, and exclusively give them that title with no regard and no. They ain't got to apologize to nobody. When the last time this motherfucker apologized to somebody, yo, for their words and their verbiages on somebody? When the last time somebody made them apologize for all their behaviors? Huh?
Do you think they gonna apologize?
No, they ain't gonna apologize, man. Because they're extremists. They believe with their beliefs is the only belief that is supposed to be in the forefront.
And now let me say something to you about them. You do know that dude got a book out, and guess what the book called? It could happen here. It could happen here. He's saying what happened in the Holocaust could happen here in America.
Well, is it going down the same path? That's the question to be is. Are y'all doing the same shit y'all was doing?
Yeah, but guess what?
Well, hey.
hey. Yeah, they are. But they got some new victims. Okay. You know who they are? They are asses, goddamn it. That's who the new victims is. Fuck that.
And look, see that's another reason why we talk about Martin Luther King, why they were so behind them, because they're non-violent shit. They want to be able to do now they want to be unmolested, right? They want to be able to move freely in the world or anywhere they go, right? Unmolested. You know what I mean? But they gotta have their hand.
Do you know how many people? Do you know how many people have kicked these people out of their countries, man? You know that?
But they say that's anti. How's it anti if you're doing something to warn it? My question is, what are you doing to warn it? Don't just say you You got to be doing something extreme to get kicked out of the whole country. No.
Hey, look, man. All right. Let me pull this up. I pull this up for you.
They won't even call these motherfuckers won't even call you American, dude. That's how. Listen to their verbiage. They just describe you as black. On the blacks. Damn, we ain't American. But I've heard him say he's Jewish American. See what I'm saying? They won't even recognize your nationality as American. So they just cut you off and call you black.
All right, look, let me play this. Let me play this video for you right quick. Won't you hear this? Because I want to ask you, where do you think we're going with this? How far can this rabbit hole go?
Okay, well, what you heard? Okay, yeah.
This ain't about him though. It's not about him.
Friday breaking down.
Yes, happy Friday. It's the future that we've all dreamed of. Here is a sticky mess of a situation. Imagine you're having a backyard party this weekend. You're a little too loud, getting rowdy. Maybe somebody breaks out the Bean Boozled. Who knows? Either way, your neighbors call the cops. They come out. You're met with not a knock on the door, but an eye in the sky. That's what's happening this weekend. The NYPD is sending drones to respond to calls about large backyard parties. The announcement came at a security meeting about an upcoming parade to celebrate non-Hispanic Caribbean people in New York City. New York Times reports the celebration has also seen shooting and violence in the years past. A statement from the New York Civil Liberties Union called it racialized discrimination, and critics have, of course, raised privacy and legality concerns. I spoke to an attorney today for this reason, not for other things that are going on in my life, and said that, yeah, that's completely different. It said it's probably actually legal, not a lot of privacy from airspace, especially in a city like New York, which is very vertical. Just last week, New York City Mayor Eric Adams affirmed his interest in using police drones for safety.
I used to throw those backyard parties.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Different time. Bean Boozled, by the way, is when you get like jelly beans and it's a game where you don't know what it is. You taste it. It could be like really good or it could be really great.
All right, Shaq. What do you think about this eye in the sky program? I mean, because you ain't using police officers, you're using drones now. You invading privacy like hell doing some shit like that, man. That's a little over the top.
Hey, man. Ain't that what your boy Edward Snowden was talking about?
Hey, so can I ask a question? Are we in a police state?
Well, oh, yes. Oh, we already there. We there. We there.
Yeah. And I told you, Eric Adams went over to Israel. And the first thing he did when he came back from Israel is brought that goddamn talk about they're going to use drones. And what do Israelis use over there to spy on their population? They use drones.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring it here. And guess what? They're going to use it again on September 15th for Rosh Hashanah. That's a Jewish holiday. Because they said they don't want the Jewish people to be scared and be worried about Jewish attacks. They're going to use it again. Watch what I tell you.
Of course they're going to use it.
So how far does rabbit hole go that you actually use drone technology? You ain't got to use a police officer for large parties. You use a drone. That's not cool. So just pointing it out there. So we gotta be careful. I mean, you know, because these some crazy times we living in, brother. I kind of wouldn't have it no other way though. But at the same time, you know, it's been a wild week. Manifest destiny and both beliefs hold that white Europeans have the right to possess any land anywhere. The dominant group is led by two principles. Manifest destiny.
Hold on, what you read?
That's what Bishop said.
Well, hold on. So read that again, Bishop. Peace, Bishop. Read that what he said again.
The dominant group is led by two principles. Manifest destiny in the United States, the Monroe Document. Both beliefs hold that white Europeans have the right to possess any land anywhere.
And you know what that is, Bishop? You're absolutely correct. It's called a doctrine of discovery and dumb diverses.
That's right. Well, you know, Rich Chak, it's kind of like
It gives them the authority to whatever they, like you said, whatever they land and discover, then they can stake claim to it. Give them the free range to stake claim to it by any means necessary. Literally, dominance.
I have conquered you.
There you go.
Now, let's just play this.
Of the population of our planet, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, are all being used and deceived by a wickedly wise Illuminati. All of these secret societies and shadow governments that you don't see, who regulate economic policies, who wage war and sell arms and cause brother to fight brother, nation to rise up against nation, destabilizing governments.
Listen, Shaq.
Putting into office who will be their best agents to represent their will, and those that are in front of us, sometimes they do not even know how they are being controlled by a 10% ruling class that the public never sees. But Elijah Muhammad said, in so much as there's an 85% ignorant mass, poison animal eaters, worshiping that which they know not what, and a 10% ruling class that are the blood suckers of the poor, that leaves a balance of 5%. The 5% are the poor, righteous teachers who have the knowledge of the true and the living God. And it is the 5% who have to awaken the 85% to the 10% blood-sucking class of wicked men. That's why it says, those who call themselves Jews, but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. And this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, after 40 years of teaching us who the devil was, instructed his national representative, don't use the term devil anymore. Why? Does it mean his nature has changed? No. He said use the term Satan, enemy, slave master's children. Oh,
What all I'm saying is, when we know what it is, just call it out. I call them what they are. I got the book right there sitting up top. They are the synagogue of Satan. And I don't have no problem saying that. So, and they tell you who they are. I mean, they don't even lie to you, really. I mean, they just tell you what they do, but they are fooling 85% of the planet. And it is people's job to, if you can, wake people up to who they are. And they are blood suckers. Because they suck in your blood. That's why y'all were talking about Cash App and Venmo earlier on the phone, and y'all were talking about the banks running out. They blood sucking you, man. They blood sucking you through the dollar, which Shaq you call an IOU.
Mm-hmm.
So always remember, And when you see green black, you got a synagogue of Satan talking right to you, and you don't even know it. Some people don't even know it. They think he mean well. No, he's a devil. Speaking of another devil, a devil named Barry Soetoro, or the one y'all call Mr. Barack Obama. I see they owe $313 million to Iran, U.S., for funding terrorist groups such as ISIS and things. Back to when Iran is ordered them to pay $313 million. So that's interesting. Matter of fact, I'll put it up for
Man, I just got some hold on. Hey man, what's going on with this some shit with the White House? You heard about this? Man,
what?
yo.
He chasing men in dresses again?
Man, I don't know. Somebody just told me they sent me some information. They going in on the White House. I think his hold on, let me see. This says Slam who? Concept the move. I don't know what the hell this is. Hold on. It says Chief speech with Chief Kelly. Hold on. I'm just looking at it right now trying to see what this is because she was telling me something about something with Dwight Howard. I guess I have to look at it later. Yeah, 'cause somebody was telling me about some shit that's going on with the White House. Some I guess some motherfuckers he messed with came out. Going to whistle on him or something. I think Tasha K talking about it. A lot of people talking about it. Damn.
All right, y'all can go to Al Shira News and pull up Iran court orders Obama, U.S. Obama to pay $313 million for terrorist attacks. So that's interesting.
And then you sent that to me my phone, or you sent it to me in Facebook Messenger. That link.
Text.
Through text. Okay, I think 33 million. Okay, I see it.
Yeah, so a lot of things going on under the nose. People don't know, but they better get aware because daggone it's coming, baby. It's coming, goddamn it. Mm-hmm. So, but like I say, what's going on, Bishop? Let's see. You know what, Bishop? I'm gonna send Bishop the link right quick. I ain't gonna be on for 10 minutes, but Bishop, what's your thoughts tonight, man? I just want to see your link, man. Come on over for a second and send me your thoughts, man. Just come on. You ain't got on by like 5 minutes, man. Just tell me what you think, man. I ain't putting them out there people to call in, but it's okay. I ain't worried about that. Shoot, I just wanted to just talk about what me and Shaq had talked about. I told him we talked about cancer and all that stuff, Bishop. A little late to the party. But come on for a second. You want to say something about what we've been talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of things going on today. There he is.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry, I'm not.
A lot of things going on today. There he is.
Good evening.
Peace.
Sorry about I tell you, Hey, Chak, how you doing, Bernard?
Hey, what's going on now?
I tell you, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, Chak, how you doing? Yep, I'm gonna turn this down. Okay, I had you on my other iPad as well as my phone, so I'm listening to your stereo. But truly, you're right, Bernard. We really have to open up our eyes to the reality of things. Even this party thing. Democrat, Republican, all that's a sham too. All of it's a sham. Just like you said a moment ago. This is
Well,
not.
just broke it down for you.
They don't run anything really. They don't, and that's one thing you have been saying for years. We're under the delusion that these two parties run things, and that's an illusion and a delusion. They don't run nothing. They're being run by. They're being run by certain groups and certain persons, and you've revealed it.
I just played for you. Just told you that.
Exactly. So I mean, all that is even just a smoke screen, shadows and mirrors, if you will, just to keep us away from learning the truth. And I'm glad of people like you and Chak, even Frank, and naturally Judge Brown and others who are just revealing, Victor, who are revealing the truth, letting people hear the truth of the matter, and not be okey-doked and fooled and bamboozled by these impressions that we get. And so we're so caught up in the unreality of things that we don't even look at it and find out what the real deal is. And unless we begin to really open up our eyes, we're in for a bad future. And I'm not talking about years and years and decades from now. I'm talking within our lifetime. Within our lifetime, we're going to see a shift so drastic because they already are revealing. There's no more hiding. There's no more subtlety. They used to be kind of slick and tricky and sneaky, but they don't. They're just like you say. They're a synagogue of Satan now. So now they're coming out boldly. They're not even trying to hide their corruption. They're not even trying to hide that they have no good thing for any American but those 1%ers. They're not even trying to hide anything anymore. They're letting you know you ain't nothing but victims, and you're going to stay victims perpetually. And I'm glad for programs like yours. I'm glad you're back on the air. I just thank God for it, because we need voices, real voices, not voices that are padded by the powers that be, whether they be Jewish or any other group. We need people that's going to speak the truth and not be afraid to speak the truth. There's consequences to truth, and that is the truth. There's going to be consequences, but you have to be able to say, I don't care what the consequences are. I have to speak the truth. The truth and nothing but the truth is what we say in court. But that's not the reality of this country. This country is not based on truth and nothing but the truth. It's based on deception, corruption, and greed.
You're right, man. I like that. That's good. What do you think, Chak? Good statement? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Always on time.
Okay, let me show this to Bishop. Bishop, this is in your state, matter of fact. It's in your state. I'm gonna play it for you.
Okay.
See, people think when I talk, I just be saying stuff out of microcosm. I said, no, I don't I told I had to tell a guy at the gym one time. I told him I don't just talk. I told him I ain't gonna tell you nothing. I don't tell you that I think nothing. I said, no, I'm going to tell you what it is, where I got it from. If you don't like it, you just don't like it. I ain't worried about you. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's, I think Dick Gregory said it, where a lot of people say it actually. It's a well-spoken term. My truth ain't got to be blinded by your ignorance of it. So you can believe what you want, but belief can be blind. You got to see what's on these documents. The stuff you see on these documents is going to show you what you start. That ain't what it is. You can live in your own delusion. But daggone, sometimes you got to get up out of this slumber. Because you're getting hit in the yellow brick road. You're following the yellow brick road like Dorothy is in the Wizard of Oz. But you got hit in the brick. We got hit with the brick in the head because we don't know shit. Okay? All right.
What if my coverage isn't right? What if I accidentally hit a food truck? What if it gets covered in honest? I had to stay for.
I want you to see this, but this in your district.
Plan to host a gathering for young children at a Lehigh Valley school.
The after-school Satan Club was granted permission to meet at Saucon Valley Middle School next month. And as you might imagine, the reaction to this pretty swift.
Yeah, Action News reporter Eliana Gomez live in Hellertown now with the details on this one. Eliana.
Well, Brian and Shari, Saucon Valley School District's hands are tied. The superintendent says they allow other religious groups to use their facilities, and in this case, they can't discriminate against this group. This flyer promoting an after-school satanic group is stirring up a lot of controversy in the Lehigh Valley after the Saucon Valley School District agreed to allow the group to use its middle school to host after-school meetings for students ages 5 to 12. It's a little ridiculous.
If the school district rents to everyone, then they need to rent to everyone. There needs to be no discrimination.
After School Satan Club is a club that only goes into schools where a parent has requested our presence. It usually comes after their kiddo has been sent home with a Good News Club flyer.
This is the flyer for Good News Club, another after-school program at Saucon Valley Middle School that's sponsored by a local evangelical church that discusses the Bible. After School Satan's national campaign director says their presence in schools is about inclusion.
We, as part members of the Satanic Temple, do not believe in or worship the devil.
But it's the name and the image on the flyer that's creating concern.
Associating it with such a figure that we commonly equate to being evil, not a good thing, in my opinion.
We're told the club teaches children about compassion, creative thinking, and their activities are based on community projects.
We don't tell them, you know, Satan is really the good guy and God's not real. We don't teach about our actual beliefs in the club. It's fairly secular.
And we're told the after-school Satan group has received some local interest as well as some threats. Now, the Saucon Valley School District is closed today because of a reported threat that was made, although the district will not confirm if that threat is associated with this group.
What do you think about that, Bishop? It's interesting, ain't it?
Well, the town's name is Hellertown, so I guess hell is where the town is named after. The town named after hell, Hellertown. So why wouldn't Satan be the star of Hellertown? He certainly is the star of hell. So it doesn't surprise me at all. Once again, we're under this delusion of fair play. But years ago, I had a girl that was a member of my church, and she was, in fact, she wasn't even a member, but she was very faithful to come to my Bible study. And she every Wednesday she come to Bible study faithfully. So one day she stopped coming, and I asked her. I said, "What happened? Why aren't you coming to Bible study?" She said, "Well, my boyfriend said that he wanted me to go on the truck with him, and I had to miss Bible study. But he did say he would come this Sunday to church and the Bible study, and then I'd have to go for the rest of the month to on the truck with him." And I said to her, I said, "You know, it's funny how once again I've equated Satan. I know they're saying this is another thing too. Before I get into that, when she said about they're not promoting their beliefs, not much. You have to listen to what people say. She said they don't equate it, not much. So how much of it do you equate? You can't have it both ways. You can't not do it, but you don't do it much. So either you're doing it or you're not doing it. Come on now. It's like somebody saying, "I'm not pregnant, but I'm not pregnant much." Either you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. Either you're teaching about Satan or you're not teaching about. How can you not teach about him much? Even in the little logo is a little devil. Come on now. I mean, nobody's a fool. Children know who the devil is. So I mean, this is kind of, once again, this masquerading. Well, it's only fair. I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody said, I think it was Frank. Instead of talking about civil rights, we need to start talking about human rights and moral rights, because children now are being taught everything. People coming in there, transgender women are coming in there and switching their butts and teaching them those stories about the gay boys and the gay girls. And I mean, come on now. And you can't say a word about God. You even at Christmas time, you can't sing Christmas carols. You have to sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Santa Claus is coming to town and you know, you better watch out and all of that kind of stuff. You can't sing "O Little Town of Bethlehem." I mean, it's just so phony. It's just so fake. But it's like you said. What did you say earlier, Bernard? This is the synagogue of what? And synagogues don't believe in Jesus. The Jews don't believe in Jesus. Some will say teacher. None will say he's a prophet. And absolutely nobody going to say he's the Messiah. So you're already talking about the synagogue of Satan. And it's dominating everything. It dominates the LGBT community. They're a cult. It's dominating the women's movement. It's becoming a cult. It's dominating things like the Black Lives Matter movement and other movements out there. It's dominating it. This is not all.
Hey, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. The Black Lives Matter, they came out and told you straight up they Satanists. They never hid that.
Okay.
They never hid that.
No, they didn't. No, they always stood up. They trying to hide it now because they got such big backlash. They're trying to hide it now, but they were very clear in the beginning. Their manifesto was very clear what they supported. Very clear.
I mean, matter of fact, they actually had they were marching through town of Charlotte, North Carolina one night with F Your Jesus and all that. I remember them. Matter of fact, they were burning a lot of churches too, whether people don't know it or not, but they were doing it too. So
I'm not surprised.
But you gotta remember, I had already told you, Shaq, me and you discussed this. BLM and Antifa is really the equivalent of the Nazi Gestapo. Okay? They just hiding it under the cloak of something else. That's all they're doing. Because you look at their tactics and look what they were doing. If you had any disagreement with them,
Bernard, they're not even hiding much anymore. Just like you said a moment ago, if you would read their manifesto, you read what they're about, you read and you see what they're doing for real. They're not hiding nothing. The media is trying to hide. The media is trying to cover up. The media is trying to downplay what they're all about. They're trying to conceal from the public their real agenda. It's the media. It's not them. They're very bold about what they believe in. Very bold. It's the media trying to make it.
The woman was on TV. She told you. The woman was on TV. I think she told you they retrained Marxists. I mean, she let you know what they are. I mean,
of course. There's no deception. The media is trying to deceive us, but the groups are not trying to deceive you. You're deceiving yourself because they call themselves Black Lives Matter. That's the deception of all time. Because it had nothing to do with black folk. Nothing. They don't do. They do absolutely nothing to perpetuate and protect and defend and promote black interests. That's not their interest at all.
And go back to 2000. You go back 2007, 8. They were actually starting them out like a cell group out there in like Stanford or one of them colleges out there in California. They were already prepping them. So, and then they used it, but see, they used it in like different movements because you remember Occupy Wall Street?
Yep.
They actually were trying to use it then, but they didn't really kick off because you didn't get a lot of black folks to join in on that. They kind of like that was more like it was good, but I mean, let's be honest. I mean, how many brothers and sisters working on Wall Street? You got some, but
that's
you ain't gonna get no whole bunch of people out there protesting on Wall Street. You might
the majority
get
don't even
those
stop.
other people.
It's Wall Street.
Okay.
We don't know where it is.
Yeah,
we know somewhere in New York. That's all.
But if you go back to Trayvon Martin, right? You actually had some signs in that crowd that said "Occupy" when they were marching with Ben Crump and them in there. That's how you found out that Occupy Wall Street was really BLM in disguise too, because you look at it, you got the same script, all these protests, right?
Yeah.
But you got to know who the protesters were, because you might be standing beside somebody that looked like you, but this guy got a band on his arm or something to let them know this is a show tester. This guy, we might arrest him, but we're going to let him out the next day. That happened here in Richmond. They were protesting there. They let them out. You're not getting out for civil disobedience unless you got some bail fund. Who was prepping you? They already had a bail fund. Because Kamala Harris told you that. and they were using, and really to be honest with you, BLM is actually really need to be locked up more than that, because that is a money laundering operation. Just like this girl in Georgia that's trying to prosecute Donald Trump. This girl named Fannie Willis. That woman got donations from Act Blue. Act Blue was a Democratic Party front group.
It still is.
And matter of fact, it is. And guess what? Act Blue donated money to the campaign. Biden, Buttigieg, who else? They donated money like Bernie Sanders too, I think. But what I'm saying is they donated a lot of money, right? And when you go back and look at Act Blue, they got some of the money. BLM got some of the money, and that's how that worked. And the LGBTQ got some more. So this was all their little game. But guess what, Bishop? They kept it in the family, didn't they?
Yes, they
kept it in the family.
They did.
But,
They certainly did. And we got
Shaq, you still there? I don't know if he's still here. Oh, he's still here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm doing some research behind the scenes, man. I'm doing some research on this Dwight Howard situation, man. You know, it's going down. It's going down.
Well, look, let's put it like this. Like I said, I just got Bishop on here for 10 minutes because he was in the chat, and I wanted to just get it in right quick. I gotta hop off here anyway, but let me say something, Bishop. I do want you to shout out your information, and I do thank you for coming on, because like I mean, you know, like I said, I'm just saying they trying to just be honest. I mean, you see what they've been doing me the last 2-3 years. They trying to strip me.
I know.
They've been trying to strip me.
I've been proud of
one of my greatest gifts of talking to the people, letting the people know what's going on, right?
That's right.
So, but when I come on, I still drop the hammer.
Always.
Hey, Bishop.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Now go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say what you got scheduled for your program Wednesday or.
Well, I'm like you guys. I like to investigate. I like to deal with I take some things from Bernard. It's like last week I took a couple of things from him. I take things from you too, Shaq. I mean, I look into it. I research it. I do it. So I'm in that process now. I don't know exactly what I'll be dealing with on Wednesday, but you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be something that'll be drawn from what you all send me. You send me a lot of information both through Facebook and Messenger, and as well as texting me and all the rest. And I sift through it and I investigate it. I look at it. Those things I want to pull up and those things I want to discuss, I will. There's two things that Bernard talked about tonight that I would like to piggyback on. So you'll be hearing a couple of points that I'll be talking about. So it's going to be interesting as always. It's always something new in the news now. Victor, he's going to have the program start again on Sunday. His program begins again on Sunday. A conversation with Victor C. That'll be at 7:30. In fact, it'll be Judge Joe Brown will be his first guest on Sunday. So there's a lot of questions I know all of us have for him. There's a lot of legal stuff happening that we need to ask the expert in judicial policy, procedure, and all the rest of that. Our program's every Wednesday night. We change the time to facilitate some issues that I have with my mother and all of that, so that we can be on point. So we start every night at 7:30 p.m. every Wednesday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. on Blog Talk Radio.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
this month, as you know, we speak. This month is National Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. So whenever you need to squeeze that in sometime this month.
Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I'll squeeze it in my thing. I'll let you talk about it, Shaq. And Bernard, if you got anything that you want to highlight on the program, let me know. Either one of you, and I will put you on so you can promote whatever.
I got.
Let me know.
I got something I got to talk about, and but I'm gonna talk about your program because I can't everywhere I can, but like I said, I can't squeeze it in that much tonight because I got to run out for a minute, but I'll be back.
But Well, Bernard,
Like,
anytime you want to talk about things, you know, my program, no hold bar. That's my policy,
ain't
no hold bar. Whatever you all want to talk about, you talk about.
I just don't have 20 minutes right now to break down the effects of radiation. So,
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah. So,
well, thank you both for me. Thank you, Bernard, for allowing me the opportunity. Thank you, Chak, for being who you are, always supporting, always telling the truth, always letting the folk know what's really happening, and pulling the veil off the lies. And that's what you both do. You pull that veil off the lies all the time, and I appreciate the both of you. So until next time we see each other, I want to say good night.
Peace,
y'all take your
peace.
time, man.
Okay, Doc.
All right. All right. Yep.